Hi everyone, it's Dominic from the msguy.com. Today is a great day because I get to interview my daughter. I've had MS for 10 years before she was even born. I know MS is an issue regarding families, having families. Many people get diagnosed after they've already started a family. I chose to start one with just one child. After I knew I had MS, I didn't really know how it was going to go, and there's a ton of discussion around that. But more importantly, I have never ever spoken to Ellie about what she thinks about my MS, what she knows about it, how it may or may not have affected her life, anything like that. So we're going to start that interview right now. Good morning. Like I said, we're joined by my daughter, Eloise, and rather than me give you an introduction, which would make her cringe, I'm going to let her introduce herself. So over to you, H.
Hi, I'm Eloise. I'm 18 and I'm at university at the moment studying fashion communication, fashion journalism at Central St Martin's.
Wow. Ellie, from my point of view, I've had MS as long as you've known me, but I think I make the assumption, and it's easy as a parent just to make the assumptions about things with your children, but maybe you could tell me how you feel that it's affected you.
Well, I don't recall you having MS my whole life, and I think that might be partly due to the fact that you only really started accepting it and realizing that it was a part of your life maybe when I was around 12, or maybe that was me growing up as well and noticing it more.
Yeah.
But I recall that you had some really bad fatigue when you were at university, and I was about 12 years old, 10 to 12-ish, and that's when I started noticing it. And for me, I think the way it has affected me the most is that when you do get all these symptoms, they sort of undoubtedly really frustrate you because you can't do things that you want to be able to do and that you used to be able to do, and I should be able to do this or I should be able to do that, and it's just not working. And then obviously you get frustrated, and I think that I sometimes don't remember that you have MS and that it's sort of the causing all these problems. And so when you're irritable, I just, as a teenager as well, I'm, having everything going on, and I just get irritable back, and then we get into arguments when really I feel like sometimes I should be more understanding that you do have all this stuff going on. And it's only after the fact that I remember, and I'm like, oh yes, okay, he has a reason to feel like this. And so I feel like that's the way it has affected me most, in that sometimes I forget and I just get annoyed at you, and then I sort of remember later and I feel a bit bad about it.
I don't think you should feel bad, because half of me thinks, I still feel like sometimes like I'm a fraudulent disabled person, if that makes sense. And I don't like blaming everything on it. I think, what if I'm just a grotty individual at times, as anybody would be, and the MS isn't contributing? I don't want to just go, well, it must be the MS.
Well, it does heighten it though, I think.
I think you're right. And it's I think it's part of not wanting to accept it. So it's a, do you remember when I first said anything to you about it?
Well, I can't remember my whole childhood, so you probably said something about it when I was very young. I don't think you actively hid it from me.
Yeah. No.
But I sort of remember being conscious of it when you were doing your degree and you were working at that as like a waiter or something at that
I started to be a barman at Blanca.
But yeah, at Branca. And I
Blanca,
remember
that's it, yeah.
I think you had to stop or something because your fatigue was getting really bad. And I just remember thinking, like, why would you? I mean, everyone gets tired. And then you kind of had to explain to me what fatigue really was. And I remember being conscious, being like, oh, okay, so he's getting effects of it. And then also I remember at school every year, our form would have to choose a charity, and people would put forward their charities, and I never really thought anything about MS. And this one girl in my class put forward MS, and they're like, "Oh, my grandpa has it," and I remember being like, "Oh, didn't realize it was that much of a thing," and I feel kind of bad because my own dad had it, and I was like, "Oh, my dad has that." And yeah, I just think that maybe I wasn't aware of it as much as I could have been.
I'm kind of happy to hear that, because it means to me that I didn't advance it at every opportunity and everything in terms of putting it onto your life. I think a lot of people have kids and then they get diagnosed with MS, and I'm not sure if that's better or not, because, to me, you've always had it. I remember with your mum, we spoke about having a kid before, because and one of the reasons that we only had one was because we just weren't sure. And it was the kind of, you're sort of gambling, in some ways. It's sort of, what will happen if I just get knocked out of the equation entirely? I remember when you were growing up being very grumpy at times, because I get very tired because I sorted that company, and I didn't realize how much it was wearing me out. And then, yeah, you're right. I went to work. I tried to get a job in the bar. Well, I got a job in the bar at Branca, and then it was just destroying me.
No, I never really connected when I was younger with,
Yeah.
you being grumpy. And I never thought, oh, that's because of his MS, or it might be this happening to them. I never sort of considered that.
Right. Oh, okay. I mean, gosh, in some ways, it's a lovely short conversation about it. Because, I mean, I think a lot of what's come up in doing this channel and trying to do this is the fact that I have been magnificently successful at just suppressing it, and is really only, well, part of it doing this makes me think about it, makes me reflect on it, talking to other people, talking to you, talking to Uncle Chris. Do you know one of my new subscribers to the channel is? Just so you know, Mum. So Granny Sarah. So it's yeah, so she's very keen to see this interview. And yeah, so give her a wave.
Granny Sarah.
Yes, indeed. So
But yeah, I was just going to say one thing, is that if they have a child, or they were thinking about having a child and they have MS, then I'd say, don't sort of blame everything on it, which I'm not saying Daddy does at all, but but I feel like when your child is growing up, every now and then, just have a talk to them and say, this is what I have, this is what I'm experiencing at the moment, this is how it affects me, and I could get this, but so try not to strike fear into them, but just explain it to them maybe a bit more as they were growing up. I don't want to say you're doing it wrong, but it's good that you're reflecting on it now. And yeah, I feel like the sooner you accept it, the easier you can deal with it, because then you're not just pushing it down. You can find ways to cope with it.
I guess so. I guess it was always something that I didn't want to acknowledge, because I didn't want to let it get in the way of my life and raising you and so being a dad and all that kind of stuff. And it was only probably the hardest time is when it started to sort of knock on the door and make me have to make changes. And if you remember, when I broke my leg badly, that's kind of, to me, the turning point, because that's my first real disability. I can't sort of just dart across the road right now, or any time in the last 9 years. That wasn't the MS, as far as I'm aware. It was my leg.
But all I do remember actually was it used to have this pill box that was like Monday to Sunday, and you had those blue and white pills in, but I never realized they were anything important. I thought, oh, it's just Daddy's pills, whatever.
That was me being on the Tecfidera trial for a ton of time. Dimethyl fumarate, it's called. It all came in these gigantic pill cases. You're right, and it was I get so frustrated if I'd forget. And you think I had it for nearly 7 years.
But I don't think it massively affected you as a father. Like I remember, when I was younger and I'd go to the park with my friends, you'd always be like the parent who would like push us the most on the roundabout and on the swings and everything like that. So I don't think it was like, how you had fatigue and was not doing anything and, not accepting it. Like you were very much, I think, yeah, if it wasn't affecting you as much, you didn't need to have to accept it and think about it so much then.
Yeah, I suppose so. Hey, look, I really appreciate you taking the time. It, just so everybody knows, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So not the ordinary getting up time. Well, I get up, but I don't do things like this interview and stuff this early. So it's I know you work really hard at uni, so I'm guessing that you're just going to get your head straight down into some work or go to the library or something. Hey, Eloise, I appreciate you taking the time to join us today. And it's just really interesting to hear it from your point of view, because I've never asked you, have I?
No, not really.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I'm trying to change now, is trying to find out from people so that they can say stuff. I forgot all about that job at Branca. So I appreciate that. All right, honey. Well, look, you have a lovely day, and we'll speak to you soon. Cheers.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to get my second vaccine, so I'm all thrilled anyway.
Okay, bye.
All right, darling. Bye-bye. Love you.